Welcome, beloved Sangha, to a Jewel Ornament of Liberation series, a commentary with the Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We'll begin today's commentaries in the Yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute prayer book on page 4 and 5 with opening prayers. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tunga tuje jajara zondra, jinja mada duja banjamba, zirja lamba dabar jibega, shaje jabe jadanga janzar, dorje janja de la narada, mabamala juje gamba ba, bamadra jabanda gamba. Kajun lama nanje da janje, dana zara damje da, lama laba laye jizazan, lazayan denjam zangala. Tendre donjendre begele zor da zor lo ju zonro var zinje labdo zor che lamdon ro var zinje labdo zor lan trova se var zinje labdo trova ishu zanja var zinje labdo zor gange tenjendre var jong ba me ba je ba me ba ta me ba wa me ba ro me ba ta de do me donje me Trubanye je denpa zobo sanje mananje damba de la janzar do renje anzaba lama je kuzon do je zelan da ge julan bede da ge denpa dan sanje jadon labo jendra para sanje labdo so. Many Tashdele, their Dharma brothers and sisters. Today, we are on the perfection of meditative concentration. So this topic or session is very important to us because we are going to attain Buddhahood. So we found Buddha from our mind. For example, we get butter from milk. If we look in the milk, we cannot see butter. But after shaked milk, then we get butter from there. Likewise, we know we have consciousness, but we don't understand that it is enlightenment or Buddha. But we meditate, and then through this way, we will able to understand that we have Buddha in our mind, and then we can attain Buddhahood. So this perfection is very important. The perfection of meditative concentration, the synopsis for the perfection of meditation concentration is the perfection of meditative concentration is summarized as sevenfold. First, reflections on the drawbacks of its absence. Second, the benefits of its practice. Third, its nature. The second is its nature. Third is different aspects. Fourth, the essential characteristics of each aspect. Then 5 is how it can be increased. 6 is how it can be made pure. And 7, it is nature. So meditative concentration has 7 ways to practice. The first of these, namely the drawbacks of its absence and the benefits of its practice, is as follows. Someone possessing the qualities of generosity and so forth. So forth means generosity, discipline, forbearance, and diligence. But lacking meditative concentration can be overpowered by distractions and so will be wounded by the sharp fangs of the afflictions. Thus, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life says, humans whose minds are very distracted live between the fangs of the afflictions. This verse is very important verse, the Bodhisattva's way of life. So I think it's easy to keep in your mind. You should keep it. Fans are metaphors. Metaphor. So fence is metaphor, and our afflictive emotions are like a fence. We know that in South Africa or somewhere there are many. There is big land, and there are many lions and other animals. And they catch cows or buffaloes from the neck. So then they never release because they have a very strong fence. So physically, lions, if lions are without fence, they cannot kill buffaloes, whether how strong they're physically, but they have a very sharp fence. So then it kills buffaloes. Likewise, our afflictive emotion. We have many afflictive emotions. So if we are distracted, then we cannot liberate from those thoughts. So first we have to understand, we are on the fence of afflictive emotions. First understand, and then second, how to liberate from there. But these methods mentioned later more. And then it says, furthermore, without meditative concentration, the clear cognitions will not arise, and without them you will not be fully equipped to benefit others. Actually, Practical Buddhas, Sharavikas, they are great practitioners. They gained great realizations. Still, they are practicing for themselves. But in the ordinary beings, they think more themselves. They try to gain some benefits for themselves. But the Bodhisattvas always think for others. So that's why here it says, without meditative concentration, then clear cognition will not arise. If we do not have clear cognitions, we cannot benefit all other sentient beings, which means we are going to share Dharma experience, and we are going to help through Dharma practice. So we have to understand others' mind. Without understand others' mind, then some Dharma is unsuitable for some practitioners. So that's where we have the Mahayana tradition, Vajrayana tradition, or in Vajrayana also there are action tantara, kriya tantara, yoga tantara, anuyoga tantara, and then in the Mahamudara, single-pointed, simplicity, one test, and non-meditation. So there are many different classifications. In the Dzogpa Chimpo, there are 9 vehicles. And then in the Buddhist Mahayana also, relative bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta. Relative bodhicitta has also different ways to generate, and compassion has also different ways to generate. So that's where there are different practitioners. But right now I'm talking about different people, for example. But one person also, they are going to purify their obscurations step by step, and they are going to gain the realizations step by step. So for that reasons, all of these teachings for the sake of others. So we have to understand others' mind, others' wisdom, others' enthusiasm. So that's where the clear cognition is very important. Especially Dharma masters need clear cognitions. But the clear sometimes we think, oh, clear cognition is very difficult to gain, or perhaps this is not easy, but perhaps this is not so difficult, because if we practice shamatha very well, we could be gain some cognitions, clear cognitions. And also, if we don't have exactly the very pure clear cognitions, but we studied more from different lineages, and we learned more from these Buddha's scriptures, Mahasiddha's path instructions, and these learnings bring into the mind, dissolve into the mind, and then to try to improve experiences, and through this way we can more benefit other beings. So Lamb for the path to awakening says, without the active mind of tranquility, tranquility is shamatha. The clear cognitions will not emerge. Shamatha or meditative concentration, we call tranquility. Tranquility means peaceful, resting, or relaxation. So, why don't we have tranquility? Because we have many thoughts. These thoughts are like ocean's waves, always move. So during the meditation, there are three principles to understand. First, we are going to understand that our mind is very relaxed. Or there is no example. There is some examples, as Venerable said. The real essence of mind has no examples. But practitioners who do not recognize that, we can give them many examples. Everything are examples of that. Venerable said that. So now the best example is like a mountain. How many winds below doesn't matter. It's very firmly or may not firmly. It's certainly stay there. So likewise, our mind is very relaxed, and also our mind is like an ocean without waves. But that's where we call it tranquility. But we have thoughts, then like ocean's waves. That's where now we are following those thoughts. Thoughts say yes, we say yes. Thoughts say good, we say good. Thoughts say bad, we say bad. So then the clear cognitions will not emerge. Without the achievement of tranquility, the clear cognitions will not emerge. So clear cognition has different layers, different levels or layers. Because during the shamatha, we gained some clear cognitions, but then we gained some higher realizations like first bhumi, and then second bhumi, third bhumi. Our clear cognitions increases. And without the force of the clear cognitions, others' welfare will not be achieved. So Buddha, how did help his disciples? He mentioned all the previous lives. That means because of the power of clear cognitions. And he mentioned about future, what happened, what will happen in the future. How long his dharma will remain, and how it can benefit other beings. Everything Buddha mentioned very clearly through his clear cognitions. Moreover, if you like meditative concentration, wisdom will not arise, and if wisdom has not arisen, enlightenment will not be attained. Thus, the letter to our friend says, there is no wisdom, there is no meditative concentration. So these 6 perfections are interdependence, each other's kind of a co-work. It's work together. Without one of them, then we cannot attain Buddhahood. That's we have to know. That's where it is mentioned here. Without meditative concentration, without wisdom, and then without wisdom, this is very unique. Let us understand. It does not say without meditative concentration, without enlightenment. It doesn't say that. What it does, it says without meditative concentration, without wisdom, and without wisdom, without enlightenment. So these they are interdependent each others, and we need all of them to attain Buddhahood. In contrast, if you are in doubt with meditative concentration, you will abandon craving for lesser things. Clairvoyance will emerge, and many doors of meditative observations, meditational observation means samadhi, will be opened within you. Thus, the verse summary of the perfection of wisdom says, through the meditative concentration, craving for lowly, sensual pleasures are rejected, and one truly attains intelligence and clear cognitions and meditative observation. So here, it is you will abandon what? Craving for lesser things. So lesser thing is, now we think something important. In the Dharma way, we say they are lesser things. Why? Because now we think something are important. They cannot lead us, enlighten the stage of enlightenment. They continually hold us in the samsara. So we are suffering. So, but then the contrast. It says contrast, the opposite of the without meditative concentration. Then what is our benefit is, we can, number one, we can understand what is nirvana. Samsara is important, or essence of the samsara is important. Through meditative concentration, we will be able to understand that essence of samsara is important. Why? Because it is Buddha. And thoughts are important, or essence of thoughts are important. Essence of thoughts are important because essence of thoughts are Buddhas, 5 family Buddhas, and their energies are, or powers are, 5 family Buddhas, wisdoms. So we first, but then how should we abandon craving for lesser things? For example, lesser things, among lesser things, stealing others' things is lesser things. Because we are craving or attach others' positions, so we start to steal others' things. So that's where, if we have we endowed meditative concentration, which means mindfulness, and then we prevent, or we avoid to avoid this action. So we will not suffering through stealing, because we did not act that action, and then there's no fruition. Same thing about cigarette and alcohols and so forth. These are not important things usually. Then the step by step we understand, okay, this 10 non-virtues are not important. These actions are not important. And then slowly we understand we are doing lots of things for the sake of this life. This life is impermanent. This life means this body. This body, day by day, goes forward towards next life. What is the next life of this body? This body started to dissolve into the four elements. Four elements. It's like a sunflower. We keep some flowers in the house. We love these flowers. We do water. It's first very fresh, nice, colorful, blossoming, beautiful flowers. But then slowly something happened. Like that, our body is like the same way. So of course we should keep a healthy body. We should take care about the food and drinking and so forth. But if we utilize this body for attain Buddhahood, that means this body should support to our meditative concentration. And then we meditate, and then we gain the wisdom, and then we gain the enlightenment. So furthermore, if you are endowed with meditative concentration, wisdom will develop, and this will cause every afflictions to be overcome. Thus, Gate to the Bodhisattva way of life says, understanding that the afflictions are totally vanquished by profound insight, vipassana, conjoined with tranquility. So, if we really want to know something, meditative concentration is very important. So actually I share some half stories of Buddha about these situations frequently. If it is not too much for you, then I will talk again a little bit. So when Buddha was near the Buddha Gaya, then someone brought oranges, and Buddha meditated under a tree near the Naranjana. Naranjana is a river's name. Then Buddha meditated there, stayed there, and sits there. And then some children came to him, and they offered him orange. Same like right now we have some oranges. So children, how did they eat? How do they eat? It would same like we do. Oh, this is orange, and then how to say? No, they remove peel the skin, and we eat. And then eyes tells us a little bit. Oh, it is something else. Taste is a little different. Yeah, it's some. That's all. But then Buddha taught them how to eat. Buddha says, "My lovely guests, yeah, and you peel the skin. You focus." And this each and the orange established by each and every how to say substances. I mean many substances gathering together, and then you that way you will understand the real what is it called, the interdependence. And then Buddha said, when you eat orange, we are eating orange. We put on the our jaw or some jaws, and we chew. But where we focus outside. What he does, what she does, what is this color, what is and we are big distance from this orange, so it's automatically swallow, it goes in stomach, that's all. We can experience a very small part of taste of orange. So Buddha said, you eat and then you concentrate, focus, and then you can get a very good, complete taste. So this way, even if we try to bring some small benefit from small thing, meditative concentration is very important. Likewise, we are looking at the essence of a tree, for example. Essence of a tree. First, we think, oh, how does it benefit? And we say rejoice and appreciation. Just we say rejoice, appreciate to someone or something. It's not easy. Also, I say, oh, trees are very important. People has no feeling because if we don't know about this value. But then, tree gives us these oxygens, and even in they observe some how to say helpless breath or something, and then trees benefit the earth, water, and the environment. So we give value to tree. This is grossly how we understand the essence of tree, but this essence is not real or essence of tree. But we more focus where is tree. Or there is many leaves, branch, and skin, and roof, and so forth. If we separate one by one, in front of us, tree exists in front of us. But the way of meditative concentration, we focus towards tree, we found emptiness there. So tree is a very good object of meditation. Because a little far away we look at the tree, or there is a big tree, we see one form, one object. But we come too close, each and every these leaves, they have many lengths, like in our hands I have many lengths, which means they are separate, but they comes together through interdependence. If we don't focus how they comes together, this is interdependent, that how we understand interdependence. But how shall we understand emptiness is we are going to go more deep, and then we separate through this lens. Or this is branch, and these are branches, these are leaves, and then one by one we separate through this lens, and then we will find emptiness there. This is great emptiness, but we will not able to attain Buddhahood, complete enlightened. We will not become complete enlightened through understand the emptiness of tree. It's very important to keep in your mind, okay? So that's where then same like we were able to understand emptiness of house and stones, and in any small like a being has and egg, they don't have some lens. It seems quite hard to understand the emptiness through the lens. But we separate the skins inside of different layers, so there is no egg, there is no being, something like that. But these emptiness are great emptiness, but we are not we will not able to liberate from samsara yet. So But we are going to do this, establish that emptiness first. Okay? For example, I come back to talk about tree. Oh, this is a leaf. These are leaves. These are branches. These are root of trees. These are skins of trees, and we established one by one, and we found emptiness. Oh, this is emptiness. Okay. After that, then who says this is a emptiness? My mind says it. My mind thinks this is a emptiness. We start to look at that mind. That's where we say we are going to search Buddha inside. Don't search from outside. And then that's where we come back inside. And then we establish this mind. I said, oh, this is emptiness. This is my thoughts. Good thoughts, but still thoughts. This is a good thought, but still thought. So then we start to focus on this thinking, and eventually then what we will experience is very empty. And then our experience, another experience is very relaxed. Very relaxed. That's why in English they use rest at ease, means like that. We use rest at ease during the shamatha too, but in the real rest at ease is at that time we experience. From there, then what we will gain is bliss. Bliss, B-L-I-S, is it? So this bliss is more, how to say, great joy. But still we will not able to understand, become enlightened. So what should we want? We are going to increase clarity. Without clarity, we cannot attain Buddhahood. So why do we want Guru? Actually, we always supplicate Gurus. Sometimes we say Gurus are more important than the Yidams, something like that. So there is a mother clarity and son of clarity. There are two. This son of clarity have to come mother's lips of clarity. So right now Guru's talks about clarity, this part is like a son of clarity. Mother of clarity we already have. Mother of clarity is already we have that. So then son of clarity Gurus introduce, and then eventually this come to in the lap of mother of clarity. At that time we become enlightened. So during the Poa practice, maybe you know, Poa practice. Also, we say, your essence of mind, may your essence of mind transform into Amitabha Buddha's mind. Amitabha Buddha's mind is not thought. Amitabha Buddha's mind is intrinsic awareness or pristine awareness. So that's where we call mother of clarity and son of clarity. But in reality, this Guru introduce us. Gurus introduce us, the mother of clarity. Their introductions are son of clarities. And our Buddha nature is mother of clarity. When we understand that, then we become enlightened. So, so only Guru says something, and here our just brain or just intellectual thinking makes different things. It's we cannot liberate from suffering. Yeah. So that's why meditative concentration is important. It means gurus give us path instructions. Why do we call them path instructions? More than like a teachings, or why don't we call teaching or something like that? Or advice or something. Why don't we call that? Path instructions means they are very significant way. Turquoise, do you know turquoise? Some ladies, they use in Tibet, they use on their head. It's decoration of their hair. And they use like a necklace. And someone use the rings on the fingers, yeah? Or belt or so forth. Some turquoise has a hole. Do you know hole, yeah? But most of this turquoise hole is very straight. So if we have a thread, just we pull here, come there. Very easy. But some turquoise are very difficult. Because their holes are very zigzag inside. Yeah. Then if we try to put thread, it cannot go inside. So that's where there is a special way doing ant. In the winter, maybe we have less chance, but in summer we have many ants. So you bring one ant, and the ant's waist joined your thread joined ant's waist, yeah. And then, but not harmfully, okay, peacefully put net door of this turquoise, and then ants goes inside, and then ants help us to join this thread and turquoise, and then you can hold it on the neck. So this is not my wisdom, okay. I will tell you who did that, did that. This is a king of Sungsing Gampo has a special minister. Very clear. His clarity is almost unfathomable. So he did that. But there are long story. One day I can share. So anyhow, so path instruction, this is an example. I don't know how much suitable this example, but I think it's pretty okay. So path instruction is like that. There are a very significant way to understand the natural state of mind. That's where Guru's path instruction means like that. Generally, we say purify non-virtues, accumulate merits, practice. This is generally we are talk, but these we don't want to ignore them and reject these, because purifying 10 non-virtues and practice 10 virtues are the number one fundamental of enlightenment. So, and if we practice 10 virtues and we avoid 10 non-virtues, it is very helpful. It is really helpful advice in our societies. These days, not these days, actually this is the nature of samsara. So people try to make a peaceful world peace or peaceful world, and talk and do lots of things. I deeply rejoice all of them. But if people really practice 10 virtues, 10 non-virtues, I think this is a very, how to say, this create peaceful world or world peace. For instance, in the 10 virtues, it said don't kill other people, other animals. Yeah. So this is violence or non-violence. Second, don't stealing others' things. Into the stealing, don't Roberts, voluntarily take other things, others' money or others' properties, others' possessions. Yeah. And then there is don't sexual misconduct, for example. We say we need health, good health. Many disease comes from in different ways. And then it says, and then about this, speech. Speech, sometimes we, in this, not only it happened only this year or this time, okay? It's in the samsara. Generally, what happened is, we criticize each others more. We try to solve problem through criticizing. This is our big hope, but it doesn't work. It didn't work. But I don't mean we are going to keep very quiet, nothing to say. Sometimes have to say. We have freedom. We are going to utilize. But work with the concentrative meditation is very important when we speak. So, and so forth. There are many. And then personally rest peacefully. Even we are in the samsara, not particularly practice dharma, not do retreat particularly, just stay at home and take care of wives or husband or children and other pets or something like that. But mind is very peaceful, which means in the mind without covetousness, malicious thoughts, and so forth. So in the 10 non-virtues, if we try to reduce, we have lots of benefit. So Dharma teaching is actually traditionally some teachers stay in the higher throne and teach this way. This is also traditionally we do, but we all really have to understand the beneficial of Dharma for personal, and also our societies. If we understand, I'm not great practitioners, but I a little bit understand the value of Dharma. So that's why whether those individuals' behavior, character, these are the different. It's possible everybody has different habits or something like that. But if they practice Dharma, then we feel that they are protecting themselves. I mean, they found the special tool to protect themselves. So whether you are stay alone by yourself, but you have different thoughts and problems, you utilize Dharma, it helps a lot to reduce the problems. Especially Dharma is a special weapon, if I use like this word, to crush or to explore the negative karma. Negative karma only explored by Dharma. So we all have a negative karma. So if we are going to delete this negative karma, then this Dharma is very helpful. And then thus perfectly gathering the qualities of Avalokiteshvara through
settling the mind in meditative equipoise, there will be insight into the ultimate just as it is. Through insight into the ultimate just as it is, Bodhisattvas will enter into a state of great compassion for sentient beings. Further, through being endowed with meditative concentration, you will establish disciples in enlightenment. Thus, the ornament of Mahayana Sutara says, it is through meditative concentration itself that all individuals become established in the three types of enlightenment. Three types of enlightenment means Arahatis enlightenment, practical Sharavika's enlightenment, practical Buddha's enlightenment, and Bodhisattva's enlightenment. The second, the nature of meditative concentration. It is characterized by tranquility, wherein the mind rests within, focused on virtue. Therefore, in the session dealing with the nature of meditative concentration of the Bodhisattva levels, it says, it is a one-pointed mind abiding in virtue. Yeah? So what is the nature of meditative concentration? The nature of meditative concentration, it is one-pointed mind abiding in virtue. So the meditative concentration has a gross meditative concentration and a subtle meditative concentration. So gross of meditative concentration is, for example, right now, I am focused in the Dharma. This is also gross meditative concentration. I mean, in these moments of teaching. And you are also focused on this Dharma teaching. This is meditative concentration. That's where we are abiding in virtue. I mean, our mind is one-pointed mind and abiding in virtue. This kind of meditative concentration is attained through eliminating its opposing force, namely powerful distractions. Hence, the first priority is to overcome distraction. This involves seclusion inasmuch as the body needs to be excluded from worldly pursuits, and the mind needs to be excluded from its habitual thought process. Thus, Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life says, with body and mind excluded, distracted thoughts will not arise. Yeah. So secluded, the body, for example, right now we are in the temple. So our body is excluded from distraction. And then if you will do retreat, at that time your body is, in seclusion, probably it's called seclusion place, solitary place. So usually our body, the mind and body, mind is very important than the body. Mind, secluded mind and secluded body, secluded mind is very important. But we cannot keep, however, if we secluded body, is it English? Secluded body. Yes, secluded body helps us to find secluded mind. For example, if my body is in the city, it's kind of naturally I will be busy, or I'm going to restaurant, or I'm going to shopping centers. I'm going to do like different things, and then my mind goes with there. Yeah, but if my body is in the very solitary place, I have less chance to go the different places, and then mind has less thoughts. Okay, of the two, excluding the body from worldly pursuits will be explained through 6 points. 1. The nature of destructive activities. The cause of destructive activities. This is second, okay? And third, harmfulness of destructive activities. 4. The nature of seclusion. 5. The cause of seclusion. And 6. The benefits of seclusion. These are listening carefully. You listen carefully in the future. You will do retreat. I think it helps you a lot. 1. The nature of destructive activities is to be in a state of distraction due to involved mind with children, spouse, acquaintance, or possessions. Actually, for example, monastics, they have less this responsibility about the spouse or children and something like that. But lay practitioners always engaged this wife or husband or children. So your best way of practice is bodhicitta and practice forbearance. You can develop greatly more than someone who stay in the solitary place sometimes. So, but it does not mean you don't practice about these seclusion practices. But but then don't think, oh, my children and spouse are my distractions. They are my enemies. If you think like that, it's totally wrong. Because they are object of your increase your diligence. Diligence is a very important perfection, yeah. And then they are great object of generosity, practicing generosity. And they are very great object of forbearance. So that way, don't look down them, but by yourself, if you it's mentioned, if you are being like a normal way, then you cannot be practice forbearance with them. You cannot practice generosity with them. You cannot practice what else? Any kind of good things with them. Then, if you are still at a solitary place by yourself, it has more benefit. So many things like that. Then like possessions. Second, the cause of destructive activities is attachment, meaning attachment to people such as spouse, household, and the like, attachment to material things such as food, clothing, and the like, and attachment to reputation and respect, such as others' praise and so on. Being attached to such things, it becomes impossible to shake free from worldly busyness. Thus it is said, because of attachment and craving for material possessions, the world is not relinquished. Okay, so attachment. So there is a different way of different practices. You think, oh, Dharma is not for me because I have a wife or husband or children or other great positions, so I cannot give up my attachment. So there is a way, or you think, oh, I don't have this spouse, children, or these things. So seems I have no attachment. Not like that. So let us know this. So there is the attachment. Attachment is like this is an emotion. Attachment is an emotion which holds gently but very strongly our positions or things. So how should we liberate from them? This emotion is, for example, if you are lay practitioners, then you don't want to give up attachment. How to give up attachment, actually it's later it mentions, so I will not talk about that. But if you are lay practitioner, you don't want to give up attachment. So there is a method to abandon attachment. So you don't want to abandon or give up attachment, but you are going to transform your attachment. And then best thing is the third one is you understand the attachment, but if you can't, you are going to transform attachment. So transform attachment means this attachment transform into great bliss. There is one method. And another way is attachment. You are try to see Amitabha Buddha is actually this essence of attachment. Amitabha Buddha is essence of attachment. So Amitabha Buddha is very unique Buddha because his pure mind is very pleasant and everybody can reborn his pure mind. Rebirth or reborn, yeah. Rebirth. Be reborn his pure land. So whether you are ordinary beings or Arya, you are Aryas or same, you can reborn. You will be reborn, can be reborn in Amitabha's pure land. So you more supplicate, recite Amitabha's mantra, and your spouse or children, let them recite Amitabha's mantra, and you keep Yidam deity as Amitabha as your Yidam deity. And also something, Amitabha is only for the next lives Buddha. So who practice Amitabha is almost prepared to about the death process, This is a misunderstanding. Amitabha, in the reality, Amitabha is Amitoyo. So, you recite one mantra, it's okay, Om Amidevashi. So she is the essence of Amitoyo's mantra. So it's long life, it's purified the obstacles of your life. So you more practice Amitabha and this, and you don't want to suddenly give up all your spouse and friends or some children and so forth. Second, the cause of attachment. That's okay, because of it. Okay. 3. The harmfulness of destructive activities should be known in terms of both the general and the specific. The general harm caused by destructive activities is explained in the Sutara encouraging nobler intention. Materia is Buddha calls to the taught to the materia, Bodhisattva materia. Materia, the 20 shortcomings of destructive activities are these. What are they? There is no restraint of a body. There is no restraint of speech. There is no restraint of the mind. The afflictions are strong. One is polluted by mundane talk. One will be vulnerable to negative influences. One will be giving over to heedlessness. One will fall to attain tranquility and insight. So, mindfulness and attentiveness. Mindfulness is always like a watchman. Watchman always look where something happened, yeah? And attentiveness is like a fence. There are many houses. The round of their house, they build fence. And then they're locked. And then they wrote, or don't enter here. Don't allow to enter inside. And then nobody come there. Likewise, if we build the fence of mindfulness, then destructive thoughts or destructive situations will not occur. If it is, then attentiveness already see it. So attentiveness and mindfulness work together. That's where through our body, through our mind, through our speech, we have less chance to make mistakes. But if we don't have this, as here says, there is no restraint of a body, then lots of things, even about the health. If we eat food, we just ignore some unhealthy food and we eat, then it gets sick, yeah, something like that. So lots of things are related. This opposite of heedlessness. Opposite of heedlessness is, I think, carefulness, mindfulness, attentiveness. These are very important. With respect to the specific harm of destructive activities, through attachment to people, you will not attain enlightenment. The Tsindara Parba Sutara says, indulging in desires thoroughly, yeah, you become attached to children and spouse, and rely on the stable home life, thereby never attaining unsurpassed enlightenment. So here, children and spouse are metaphors, just examples. Because this makes more sense. For example, someone would like to go to retreat, but they have children, and children are very young, then they cannot do, like, because it's actually this they help the children is very important, but if we are talking about the emotions, these are desire. So, but anyhow here, desire. What is desire? Desire is, and attachment are like how to say this? It's very first we utilize a very small thing, and then we will not satisfy. We want more and more and more. So this time there are many addicted people, yeah, addicted with some harmful poisonous. So they, because the main problem is attachment, but sometimes they have different conditions because they have very big challenges in their mind, and then they perhaps they know there is a dharma, and they come to dharma practice, and suddenly they cannot experience the dharma. So between their mind and the dharma, still there is a gap. So then they think, oh, dharma cannot protect, and then other methods, they apply different methods, it doesn't work, they do not work, and then they prefer harmful poisonous substances. So then they do little thing, and it gives some little pleasures in the mind, kind of little happy, and then they misunderstand, oh, this is the best thing, and then they do again and again, and then eventually they cannot stop that. And some what happened is before they can understand about dharma methods and so forth, and they have some facing problems, and they suddenly prefer harmful substances. So the substances are different. Some are mixed with the medicines. It's okay because they exactly, doctors, they exactly put balance, okay? The balance. So that medicines helps you to reduce your painful experience, but you will not become addicted, and it will not damage. That's what I think, or what I perceive about the medicine. But some you pure or complete some harmful substances, you directly take them, then it harms a lot your life. So that's where you when you have facing problems, you share your friend and listen your friend's advice. It definitely benefits 1 day, 2 day, or a few weeks, or completely entirely free from the obstacles. There are different methods. It's very possible. If it does not happen that, then or you don't want to share your friends, then it's okay. You are more practice by how to say with different methods or dharma methods, and through this way it will release. So that's, I think, you more prefer more than suddenly prefer some harmful substances. Then Guide to the Bodhisattva way of life also says of this: through attachment to those beings, the highest purpose is completely blotted out. The meditator should therefore get rid of attachment to those people, as it is said, neither do they benefit you, nor do you benefit them. the steer well clear of the immeasure. So the attachment, if we are too much fixate with this attachment, then attachment also will not help us, and we also will not able to liberate from samsara. Then on the benefits of casting off the attachment, the Tsindara Pandara Sutara says, perfect enlightenment is not hard to find for those who have rid themselves of clinging to spouse and offspring and fearing domestic life, having genuinely shaken free from it. So in the samsara, we are in the samsara because of we attached with different positions. So we are attached with different positions. Then we always remain in the samsara. So then there is no samsara never give us chance that it is time to your nirvana, so you should go nirvana. You leave me alone. It's okay. Samsara never give us this opportunity, so we have to more try to free from samsara through ourselves. The harm caused by attachment to material positions and repetition is twofold. One cannot sustain them permanently, and they give rise to suffering. It is says of the first in the guide, the Bodhisattva way of life, what has become of those who have amassed wealth and fame is quite unknown. So if we are too much engaged worldly concerns, and we are too much attached about repetitions, then and positions, then we have more suffering. So that's where of the second it says, whatever you are attached to will come back 1,000-fold is suffering. Even for example, I attached this book, this is part of suffering. If I understand this book is emptiness, I have more benefit. So this is how it depends how we utilize, So for example, we are eating food, then how do we eat and what kind of food we eat? This is very important. So we cannot say all is good, all is not bad. That's where always how we will utilize is very important. And then fourth, the nature of seclusion consists in the being free from distracting pursuits. The cause of seclusion is to abide, is solitude in isolated place. In isolated place would be the likes of charnel grounds, forests, caves, meadows, and so forth. To qualify as in isolated place, it should be out of earshot of worldly habituations, meaning a distance of some 500 bow spans. It says in the treasury of higher knowledge, a place is considered secluded when it is out of earshot, which means 500 bow spans away from dwellings. So where can you find like this? There are lots of says earshot and 500 bow span away. How can you measure like this? You can't, but if you went to the monasteries, then this is exactly we found the how to say solitary place. Yeah. Then 6, the benefit of seclusion is as follows. When someone has abandoned distractive activities and gone to stay in seclusion for the sake of both enlightenment and other sentient beings, the benefits are manifold. It is the best way to serve and respect enlightened beings. The mind will emerge from its samsara. There will be freedom from the outwardly concerns, and afflictions will not increase, and meditative observation swiftly develops. This will be explained point by point. As for the first point, seclusion being the best way to serve the Buddhas. So seclusion or this solitary place is very important for the practitioners. So, for example, Shakyamuni Buddha, he stayed alone in the under a branch of tree in a very remote place. And then Milarepa has 18 caves. 18 caves. So in those caves, only himself sometimes appears some like a ghost or some like a dharma protectors, or sometimes the wild animals came to him. Otherwise, always he stayed. He has 18 caves, so he stayed alone. That's where it has more benefits to practice. When through bodhicitta, just 7 paces are taken toward a hermitage with the intention of staying in retreat to benefit beings, it is far more pleasing to the totally pure and perfect Buddhas than offering them food, drink, flowers, and so forth. Thus, the Tsindra Parpa Sutara says, food, drink, and robes, flowers, incense, and garlands are not what best serve and honor the vector, the finest being of all, whoever longing for enlightenment and saddened with the evils of conditioned life takes 7 paces toward a place of retreat, with the intention of staying there to benefit beings. His merit is far greater than those who make such offering. Dhamma friends who are staying in the city, every morning you come to the door and pace 7 steps, and you say, I'm going to solitary place. Then you have a great merit, more than you offer everything. Just kidding. That this main purpose is you have enthusiasm to meditate. So this maintains that. So that's where your mind is like a king. So body and speeches are ministers. So whatever, what kind of order by mind, king of mind, then your actions and speech act like this way, follow it. That's why you think you think I'm going to go solitary place. Why? Because your principle or main purpose is you think I'm going to retreat. I'm going to retreat means what? You are going to stay in one house. Not this is your main purpose. Main purpose, you think I'm going to practice meditative concentration. Yeah, that's where its main benefit is that the same sutara explain how the mind will shake free from samsara and from the eight worldly concerns, and how afflictions will not be fostered. Likewise, you will definitely transcend life's artifice. You will be without the slightest longing for worldly things, and things that are tainted will not be fostered. It also tells how what is needed more than all else, meditative observation, will swiftly develop. The same sutara states, leave enjoyment of towns and village, and every resort to solitude and the forests, like a rhinoceros. Rhinoceros, they have one horn on their nose. Rhinoceros, thank you. So they most time they stay alone. So they have more, I think, courage. So this is the example, yeah, like a rhinoceros always remains single-pointed, and before long, the best meditative observations will be attained. This concludes the explanation of the need for physical seclusion away from destructive activities. So I give you one example. If you don't have, or today, in this teaching, it's mentioned, talks a lot about the seclusion. So then I, like a physical seclusion, so I have no opportunity to prefer this, so I will not able to practice. Some may be think because my house is in the town, city, so you do not worry about that. And also it says spouse and children are also parts of destructive. So my coughing is destructive more than spouse. At your home, so you don't want to reject them, as I mentioned this morning. So you make a section. For example, if you are working whole day, then even you come to your house, you eat dinner with your family, peacefully, happily eat. Even you are eat together one day, you have this opportunity. Is that you always think, oh, this is a really golden opportunity. That's great karma. I mean, we've been together and eat together peacefully, joyfully. And after it, washing those dishes, if you have to do or someone will do, And then you should go in your small location. You can make a small location like in front as a table and then chair, and then in front on the table you put some pictures or something like that, or you sit on the sofa wherever, and then you meditate. At that moment you are not think and talk about your husband or wife or children. So this is your physically seclusion. So you have opportunity. You have opportunity. If you have only 1 hour in a day, it's okay. If you have more hours, then you prefer like this way. If you have a room, some has a big, some have a big house. If you have a room, then you have a sharing room, altar room, and you went inside and then closed your door, and you tell them, I'm going to meditate for 1 hour, so let me close my door, and windows or something. You do. And the middle of your practice, they come to you and you practice forbearance. Don't think, it destroyed my physical seclusion or mentally seclusion. So don't think like that. Practice forbearance. So I think then we all have this opportunity. So monastics were not engaged, spouse or children, but lay practitioners still engaged spouse and children, but for 1 hour a day or 3 hours a day you can meditate. During the meditate, you purely meditate. It's very important. Purely meditate is very important, means you are going, if you meditate for 1 hour, at that moment you try to bring some benefit. You bring some benefit means you cannot bring some physical colors or things from outside. In the mind, you just develop your good experiences. That is how we are developing our Dharma experience. To seclude your mind from habitual thought process, you should abide in quiet retreat. While staying in retreat, contemplate. Why exactly did I come to this hermitage? This is very important. All of our retreatants, for example, I came to this secluded place in fear and in terror of the terror of the places of distraction, such as towns and cities. Fleeing them, I came to retreat. What was to frightening there? The questions of the layman Ugra Sutara says, I am afraid and terrified of the destructive activities. I am afraid and terrified and material positions and honors. I am afraid and terrified of corrupting friends. I am afraid and terrified of those who teach bad ways. I am afraid and terrified of the dangers of desire, anger, and delusion. I am afraid of, terrified of the Mara of the aggregates, the Mara of afflictions, the Mara of death, and the Mara of seductive pleasure. I am afraid and terrified of the 3 rebirths, animals, hungry spirits, and hell beings. Through such fear and terror, I have come to the wilderness. It's very reasonable. So exactly Milarepa says, I'm afraid of death, so I'm come to the run away from the hometown, he said. And then I meditate on the impermanent, and then eventually I understood deathless. So now I am not afraid of death. So Milarepa said that. So he physically stayed in the mountain and then meditated about the impermanent, and then eventually he recognized the essence of mind. That's where he said. So same thing here mentioned. Yeah. Being afraid and terrified in the manner described above, think, here in this place of solitude, what are my body, speech, and mind doing right now? So we have more chance if we stayed in a solitary place. Otherwise, in the town or city, we are looking on people or things or cars or TVs and lots of things. So then over times, share with different things, with those things or actions or something, then one day is very short, it's gone then. But we come to the very solitary place, our film is our own mind, our object of this all of things are our mind. So we start to watch at our own mind, and then what are we are going to these methods are very important. Why am I coming here? What are my body, speech, and mind doing right now? These are very important. It's support to our practice. Contemplate if while in retreat my body is killing, stealing, or the like, then there is no difference between myself and beasts of prey, hunters, thieves, and robbers. Is this really accomplishing my initial purpose in coming here? In this way, counter these behaviors. It's really, really important path instruction. So, okay, killing means, in this case, killing the precious time or not. Usually, if we are retreat in the retreat hut, probably we have less chance to kill animals. But if we waste our time, that precious time, then that means we are killing our precious time. Killing means misuse. So we don't generate loving kindness and compassion. We do not practice on the impermanence and forethoughts and so forth. We do not meditate on the Mahamudra and so forth. And we just, there's a self-mind becomes self's enemy. Just we create lots of kind of negative thoughts, and then we are start to fighting, we just image means some did some bad things before doing retreat, and in this during the retreat comes that thinking, resigned mind arises, and then fight with those people or something. So it's very possible it happen. So we are going to more look at our own mind, and then if our mind still like stealing means actually stealing others things, yeah. But in this case, we can steal ourselves precious things, because this best thing is this practice Guru's path instructions, but we do not practice them, and we just how to say waste our precious time and so on. So I don't mean retreatants did or do this, but in the future we will not do that. For that reasons, these parts are very important to read or listen if you have planned to do retreat in the future. But if you will not do retreat, but still, since you become Dharma practitioner, we all try to see them, and then we try to improve opposite of those negative actions. Examine your speech, contemplate. If while in retreat I chatter, slander, misuse speech, and so forth, then there is no difference between myself and peacocks, parrots, songbirds, larks, and the like. So these examples, but they used here use the examples. These lovely birds are on a negative way of speaking. I little bit disagree with that. Just kidding. So this is the birds unreasonably they say something, whether they apply here like that. So best speaking is recite mantras, recite mentally or through the tongues and lips, recite mantra and read Dharma books. Retreatants can read Dharma books. It's important. For example, Kunchin Longchen Ramjam, those masters, they did retreat in the solitary place, but their knowledge is really like a boundless space. And then they wrote thousands of these books. So read more path instructions, Song of Milarepa, and other teachings, and then contemplate, and then meditate. It's improved. And then during the retreat, there's some obstacles. You can avoid those obstacles through these teachings. In this really accomplishing my initial purpose in coming here, in this way, contract these inappropriate speech activities. Examine your mind and contemplate. If while here in retreat I have unwholesome thoughts of desire, anger, and jealousy, then I am not different from wild animals. Baboons, monkeys, wild bears, northern bears, and the like. Is this really accomplishing my initial purpose in coming here? In this way, contract these inappropriate mental activities. So these are Gampopa, Lord Gampopa, exactly what he did. And then there is some dairy or some dairy, yeah. It's kind of Gampopa said dairy. Dairy means, I think it's some students. Dairy, diary. It's very his diary was that, because each day he meditate what happens and which method benefit. When thoughts arises, what is like this? Exactly, he wrote here. So that's where these teachings came from his experience. This concludes the explanation of secluding the mind from unwholesome thoughts. Okay. When body and mind are both secluded, distractions will not longer arise. And once free of distraction, one can enter into meditative concentration. For that, the mind needs to be cultivated. First, there should be some reflection with a view to establishing which affliction is the greatest, and follow this by cultivating its counter force. As the remedy for desire, meditate on what is unpleasant. As the remedy for anger, meditate on loving kindness. As the remedy for ignorance, meditate on dependent origination. As the remedy for jealousy, meditate on the equality of self and others. As the remedy for pride, meditate on exchanging of self and others. And if all the afflictions are equal in their coarseness, or in the case of excessive thought process, as the remedy, meditate on your breathing. Okay. First, if desire is your predominant affliction, the remedy is to meditate on the unpleasant as follows. First, contemplate your body as being composed of 36 impure substances: flesh, blood, skin, bones, marrow, serum, bile, maybe, phlegm, mucus, saliva, urine, and so forth. So this 36. Desire. The desire or afflictive emotions are same. If desire, how to increase your desire? How it is increasing our desire is we imagine some kind of the way of desires. For example, if we attach very much one person, and we imagine that person and that person's action, a way of speaking, or if always meditate that person, then our attachment increase towards that person. And then one day that person did some bad things. It makes very harm in the mind, and then some suicide. It's happened many in the schools, in the young people. It happened, yeah. So that's where the whenever attachment arises, at that time, stop to focus outside and look one's mind. But in this case, it says we are going to reduce attachment over our own body. So that's where it is 36. What is it called? 36 impure. Yeah. So there are many numbers, but all of this we know they are impure. Usually we say impure, but if we are Vajrayana practitioner then these are also, because we think everything's are one test. That's where impure things are pure things are pure. So we have no problem. But now we have dualistic perception. At that time, they are impure, they are pure. They are unclear, they are clear. At that moment, then how we utilize this kind of perception of unclear or impure, and the object of these perceptions, we are going to utilize them to reduce desire or attachment. That's where. Then go to channel ground and observe the crops, that were placed there, fresh ones, 2 day, fresh ones, 2 day old ones, 3 days old ones, 4 day old ones, and 5 day old ones. Observe their decay, their complete transformation, and how they become black and eating by small worms. Then reflect, my own body is also of the nature, a similar phenomena, and I have not yet transcended such a condition. When observing corpses brought to the charnel ground, skeletons with little flesh left, those where there is just the muscles structure as interwoven fibers, those broken down into many pieces, or skeletons of those died for many years, of which the bones are shell, a pigeon colored. Meditate as above, thinking, my own body is also of that nature, a similar phenomena, and I have not yet transcended such a condition. So actually here you utilize the one method, the many examples, many ways meditation, but main purpose is it says how to reduce attachment. So the attachment comes from grasping. So right now we have a very strong grasping with our body. So but if we went to the channel ground and we see these skeletons or something like that, and we think, oh, sooner or later we will become same like this, and this is a great practice of impermanent, and also then it's reduced lots of our grasping and attachment. So for the sake of this body, we're doing a lots and a lots. So but if we utilize this body for the practice, then that will be great. So this is how we are utilizing. Actually, that's let us know. Sometimes maybe some think that, it talks a lot of negative our body. Talks negatives, but that means we utilize this body for practice dharma. So that's where how smart. If I think we will stop here today. And so today you know that meditative concentration means always stay single-pointedly, or still if we observe, examine many ways through our body, are they meditate or not? Yes, both are meditation. So meditation means doing something frequently, and then we become habits. So I give you one example. If you are meditating on immeasurable loving kindness, you think all mother thinking beings are our mother. First, there's no feeling, but do it again, and then one day you think, you really feel that all beings are my mother. And then when you feel that, you have a great benefit. What is that? Your mind is become like a boundless space. So then all the qualities you can hold in the mandala of your mind. Okay? Let us dedicate our merit. Please arise bodhicitta from your mind. Chancho semcho renpo che ma che ba nan che jor che Je ba nyam bar me bar ya go ne gong de be var sho.
May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
Thank you so much. May you have a happy mind and may you have a long life. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.